Alright, so in the previous video we made the header for our post item, and now for this video we're going to create a video section where we can see our videos right there. Like initially I wanted to use like the Pines video component. Let me show you what that is. So Pines from Dev Dojo. Just go to this website, Dev Dojo Pines Alpine Tailwind UI components. So here these guys, they have really good components, and I wanted to use a video from here, this one, where you can play some video, you can add some links, you can pause, you can mute, so this guy is made this component to help us get started. It has all this code which is huge but helpful. So in my case this wasn't really helpful because it did not really align with my code for the Instagram clone. So for us, we're going to build our own video player, which is not a very big process, short code. So let's get on that. So here we can go ahead and yes, let's just collapse everything. Here in the resources, views, components, let's create another blade file. Let's call this one video.blade.php. Inside this video, we're gonna first start by creating the props, an array there. We're gonna add the default source. Now to move things faster, I'm just gonna go to the Pines. So make sure you go to the Pines and copy one of these MP4 HTTPS, this one, copy it, and then paste it as the default source. And I'll post the code for this in the resources. Don't worry, don't have to type all this, you can just download it directly. So after that, in here we're going to have a div element. So this is going to be our main element, and here we're going to have a few. Actually, in this video we're going to use a lot of Alpine, so if you don't know Alpine, just watch through the course and I'll try to explain as much as possible. So you can have X data. Here we're going to have a plain false, here muted false. So after adding that, inside here we can add the actual video player. So here video, because it's asking for the source here, but we're not going to add a source. Inside the video, we're going to have a source like that with the src for source. In here, we're going to add this source that we have there. So just add $source, and then type is going to be video. I always mistaken the word video MP4. Right. So for this we can add a class. We can make it height full. Here max height 500 pixels and the width full. Right. And then if the player does not, we can just add this default thing saying your browser does not work or does not support HTML5 video, because this is just a simple HTML5 video. And let me just show you how it's looking like. If we go there and oh, we have not yet added the video blade in our home. So real quick, let's go to our item. Here inside the main, we can just add something like div my2. Inside here, let's add X video. Make sure I add a / in the end, close it. Now if we refresh, you see awesome. Now we have this video player which we're getting from in the video. Okay, so for this video player, just to check out how it's working, we can just add something like controls. Here, this is gonna add some controls to our player so we can play it. You say we can start playing it, we can skip like that, we can mute, we can make it big, and we can zoom out. So that's how simple it is to add a video. But we're gonna customize this video so that it can meet our standards. As an Instagram, we have the big play pause button. And if the video is playing, when we click away, it's supposed to stop playing. When we move away from the screen, it's supposed to stop playing. So let's just customize that. So in here, we're going to remove these controls, default controls. Here, we're going to make this relative. So let's add a class. Let's make this relative, and height full, width full, and auto. And then down here after the video, we're going to have something like the play pause button. Play, it's going to be div.absolute and z10, make it appear on top. Insert 0, here flex, item center, justify center, width full, height full, and then cursor, and have a pointer there. All right. Now inside here, I'm going to have a play button. Down here, it's going to be the same. Let's just copy this one. It's going to be the same kind of classes for the pause button right there. So for this, here we're adding insert 0 because we wanted to cover the whole component. So when you click anywhere on the screen, it's going to trigger this button here because these are going to be buttons. All right, so inside here, let's go look for an SVG. Let's go to Bootstrap icons. In here, let's get play. This one, the play fill. So copy this one, get the SVG, paste it inside here. Right, and for the width, let's add a class. So we already have a class here. So here in the class, let's add width 16 and height 16. Here text white with this one. So now if you go and check it out now, so we have this nice play button right there, just like Instagram now. Next, let's go look for the pause button. We can say pause. All right, let's get this pause fill because we want the thick one. In here, we can just simply get the same classes as on top there. Paste them in here. Now this is going to overlap because we're having the same buttons appear on the set at the same time. So this is okay. We're going to hide and show based on if the video is playing or not. So in here, let's start with this one. I'm going to add X clock at first. I'm going to share X show. We're going to show this the video is not playing because we have this playing on top, which we're going to toggle as we press or play pause. And then here, we're going to say X show when the video is playing because we want to be able to pause it if the video is actually playing. So now if you see that if the video is not playing, we're going to have the play button showing here. And then if we click play or pause, it's going to actually toggle the buttons based on the state of the video. So let's go ahead and actually do those states. So here, let's add an xref because we want to, this is, if you don't know what xref is, that's like adding an ID for normal HTML attributes. But since we're working with Alpine, I'm just going to use xrefs to help us use it easier with Alpine. Xref is going to be player. So in here, when we click this one, the play, here at click, want to get the refs dot player, this one, and we're gonna, since it's a video element, we can just access some of these video properties such as play. All right, simple as that. Now to check if it's working, okay, let's refresh, and then if we click, you see the video decided to play when I click there. But now if I click again, nothing is happening. So our play is working. Now let's go and work on the pause. So here I can just copy this same one, put it after the playing. Here I can just change this to pause. All right, so after adding the pause, next, right now we're not really changing the state of this playing. So if we go ahead and click play, pause, it's not going to change anything. So let's go and work on that. Here, after we trigger this play and pause for this element, we want to actually change the state of play and pause. So in here, say at play, equal sign, playing, set playing to true. This playing. Same applies to at pause, set playing to false. This is just like an event listener, the one we're triggering here, play. So when we click on this one, we're just going to set the playing to true, the playing to false. So now if we go back and then refresh, if we click, you see it's disappearing, click again, it's appearing, click, appearing, and disappearing. Fine, we now have a good working player. Now here, let's take care of this thing not showing here. So in here, let's just add one more class saying invisible, just to mimic the actual Instagram's video player. So if we refresh, if we play, it's not going to show the pause because that's how Instagram does it. Okay, it only shows the play button. So now we have exactly like the way Instagram does it, like that. Now one last thing that we have to add is the mute button. Let's add one mute button at the bottom there. So real quick, let's go back to our code. And then in here, we can just add mute. I'm gonna have a div. This is going to be absolute bottom 2, here right 2, margin 4, background gray 900, text white, rounded. We can say large, and the p of 1, cursor pointer. Right now in here we're gonna have a mute and unmute. So for the mute one, we're gonna have an SVG. Let's go ahead and get the icon from here. Hopefully we have it here on the Bootstrap icons. Mute. Awesome, we have the mute. Let's get this one. Oh, I didn't yet copy it. Copy that, come here, paste it, yes, and then in here in the mute, we're going to have, if we go ahead and check it out, let's see, okay, it's there showing right here, but let's just edit it a little bit. All right, so now we can just add a height 4 and the width 4. And then now let's add some Alpine classes. So here when we x clock, x show, I want to show this if muted is false. And then here at click, we're going to make it saying refs.player.muted is equals to true. This is just another way of accessing the properties for this player. Here we're referencing the player and then setting muted to true. On top of that, we're also going to change Alpine state property for muted to true. So these are two separate. Don't do that like two separate. This muted is just for our Alpine, this one. And then this muted, which is dot player, is for the player. So just doing two things at the same time. All right, so now down here we're going to have the unmute. The play, I mean what's the opposite of this one? Yeah, we should have something similar. So we can say like sound. Let's search for sound. Hopefully I can find it. Oh yeah, this one. Let's get this one. Video volume off. Why is it off? Okay, anyway. Let's paste this one and then let's copy these same classes like that. And then here we can remove this S clock. Here we can just say muted to false, and here to false. Here we can say width 4, height 4. So now if we go ahead back, hopefully everything is working fine. Alright, there's a problem there. So X show muted. Here it's supposed to be when muted is true, not false. Alright, so you see when the video is playing, it's going to be on mute. If I press anywhere, you see it's playing because it's covering the whole element. So let's just add a higher Z index for this one so we can be able to click it. So here let's add Z index of like, let's say 100. Alright, now you can see we are able to toggle this one easily without affecting the whole player. So at the moment, I realize that you might not be able to hear the sound of the video because I plugged in the microphone. So on your side, I mean, you should be able to hear the video to play pause. And then here, before we close, let's just add one last thing. If you can see, I click away, but the video is still playing. So to fix that, we can go to our code. Here in the video player, actually in the main element here, let's add something like at click outside. We want to get the refs.player.pause. Want to pause it. Here, let's add one last thing called at here x intersect. Here leave. We're gonna get the player and pause it again. It's just to give us a more advanced feature. But now let's go ahead and add the x intersect from the Alpine. So here, go Alpine, this one, go to docs. Here, let's go ahead and go to the intersect. Right here, let's install it via npm. So here, copy this command. Here, let's go there, paste it inside here. All right, as it is installing, we can go ahead and get this one from here to there, x intersect. All right, and then let's go to our app, the JS. In here, just right before Alpine start, we can paste the x intersect. Alright, so after that, now if we go back to our code, so here you can see if we play the video and then I click outside, nothing is happening. Oh no, because yeah, here it's supposed to be x refs. Alright, so now you can see if I play and then I click outside, the video will stop playing. You see up there, down there, and then for the intersect, we cannot test it right now because we only have one element playing. So if we go ahead and do something like in the home, in here, if I go ahead and paste multiple elements like that, so we have all these elements, and then let me play the first one and I scroll away. If I go back, it's gonna pause by its own. You see, that's the whole point of the intersect. If I go just a little bit, it's gonna stop playing. I can also play this one. If I scroll away, it's gonna stop playing. So that's the whole good point of intersect. If you don't know about intersect, you can just research more about it. It just helps us, trigger some events or something once the element scrolls into or out of the view. So that's it for this video. We can just undo this one in the home, and then I'll see you in the next video.